Web. Today I'm bringing you an overview or review, as you may call it even, of Update 7 of Torchlight Frontiers Alpha code Beast Buddies. Update 7 of the Torchlight Frontiers Alpha code Beast Buddies was released yesterday on July the 23rd, 2019. There are key features, and some of the major ones are the new pet features, the new pet system rework, and the new relic weapon rework. I will tell you about those in detail in the following few minutes. There's also a Goblin Frontier quest rework, complete overhaul, complete new story for the Goblin Frontier. There will be some skill point resets that are optional, and every week or two there will be some options for the players to decide whether they want to respect their skill points or not, and will be notified when the last one will happen. So this will allow us to experiment with different builds. Now the cash shop called Frontier Traders is open in its first state. It is in test, so you can now buy stash tabs, relic storage slots, and character slots, and all that currency will later be refunded. Not the money, but the currency called WUX. The character creation experience has been revamped, so we are encouraged to create a new character and try to see what it's all about. There's also a new friends list, and in addition to this, there's the new Netherrim and automaton creatures. I couldn't find the automatons to record footage for you, but I could find the Netherrim brutes. There's a lot of quality of life improvements you can read in detail in the patch notes linked in the description of this video. There's improvements to some quests, there's changes to the behavior of Dusk Mage, Forge and Realm Master to some of their skills and so on. Then there's a lot of tuning, new affixes such as crit chance, being able to drop on one hand, two hand focus, pants, locomotion, helm, gloves and pet tags, and crit damage from one hand, two hand focus, chest, shoulders, boots, hatch, pet tag. Then there's also some items that can drop energy cost decrease more than the items that used to drop them before. You can read again in the patch notes in detail about this under the tuning section. There's a lot of changes, a lot of bug fixes, a lot of general changes. You can now get fixes that summon allies to fight by your side. There's additional legendary items. So if you just look at the list, there's probably a few pages worth of scrolling down in regards to bug fixes, which is pretty major for such a big update. Two of the more notable major reworks of this patch were the relic weapon system and the pet system. I will now go through all three different relic weapons. First off, let's show you the Bane weapon. The Bane relic staff is a poison centered staff. As you can see, it has a skill called Miasma, which is the active weapon skill, which you use with W or whatever other key you bind. So basically you press W, then this activates. 50% chance to poison for 50% damage over 4 seconds. A poison storm starts surrounding you and it poisons the enemies for 15% weapon damage for 4 seconds, and a 5% damage buff is shared to all allies in the area. Of course, I've also added critical hit chance. I've added 15 critical hit chance during this state, but there's other things you can add, such as poison chance. So you can either add 25% crit chance, 10 times 2.5, or you can add 50% poison chance. And I think that's 50% to the base. The base is 50%, so it would be 75% if I'm not mistaken. I haven't tried it. The next thing is Venomous Maw, which is basically this skill I will show you. It's like the Realm Master's Ghost Rain but with a spider. It travels a long distance, and it's very nice that you have different options such as reducing the cooldown which I've reduced by 40%, so it now is 4.8 seconds. Or you can increase the damage if you think you don't need the cooldown that much. It's a very nice skill that can give you some poison even if you don't have gear that has a chance to poison. The third skill, the third proc as we would call it, would be Spread of Death. It's the old skill. You would be seeing some video now about Spread of Death. It's the old skill where you're shooting the targets or hitting the targets that are poisoned, and then it spawns different missiles from the target that do etc. amount of damage. So here you can either go for deadlier bolts, which increases the damage up to 10 times 5%, or up to 50% more than the 45% it does. And I think that's not 50% over that 45, but it's 50% off the 45. It needs to be tested. Then there's Kiss of Death. I increased the chance by 15%, and it did go from 30 to 45%. So here it's not 15% from the basic 30%, but it's 15% on top of that, which is quite nice. Next off we have 8-legged allies. You would be able to see a video now with those 8-legged allies. Basically it's just killing a poisoned enemy and then there's chance to summon a poison spider. I strongly suggest, if you like this skill, max out both options. Max out the increased spider count from 2 spiders to 12 spiders, so you're adding 10 more. Each level here adds 1 spider, so 10 levels, 10 more spiders. And here each level adds 5% chance, increased chance to summon spider allies on kill. So here you see I have 90% chance to summon a poison spider when this is maxed out, upon killing a poisoned enemy. And then lastly, once you reach 30 points invested in the weapon, you unlock something called Contagion, which means that Miasma, this skill, as we talked, the W skill, this poison area would now spread to your enemies, which would mean they would carry this plague miasma with them and spread it to others and so on, and while standing in that miasma you and your allies are getting 5% bonus damage buff, and it keeps poisoning them, so it's quite nice. It's very nice to keep proccing some spiders without having to use venomous maw, even if you don't have a poison weapon. So see, I have a weapon that deals poison damage, but it doesn't have chance to poison. So I won't be poisoning the enemies unless I equip something that actually does have chance to poison. And there are different things that you can use. There are offhands that can give you chance to poison, such as this one, which actually received a new model. And there are a lot of other types. This one might give me chance to poison if it had it. There's weapons that give you chance to poison. So there's options. There's options if you want to go for a poison build. For this weapon, you would be having a blast for sure. Some notable chance to poison legendary items would be the Old Deadly Bastard, Great Sword. I guess someone was a big fan of Wu-Tang Clan when deciding on the name of this weapon, and some weapons actually did get renamed. Then there's Bitterwood, a very solid stuff, especially if you find it early in the game, regardless on what character. Then there's Laced Mace. Again, it has chance to poison, also bonus crit damage, can roll on it. And then there's Disease Grasp. It's a very nice Digitus for poisoning. It also can roll crit chance. And something else that you may want to know is now crit chance can roll on items other than weapons and offhand, so you can get helmets or boots or even legs, as you can see here, with crit chance. If you need a pet tag that can poison, this is also an option, and it's called Sick Fang Warning. There should be another one, but I think Sick Fang Warning is the predominantly poisonous pet tag. There are new ones, I think, with new names. I haven't found many of them though. So the major ones would be Bloodlust Tag and Sick Fang Warning, but there are some others worth mentioning. If you see them, do let me know. The next one is the Blood Drinker. The Blood Drinker is a sword that centers around bleeding. It also has bonuses that could end up healing you. The W skill is Blood Frenzy, so it immediately deals 100% damage around you, causing enemies to bleed for 100% weapon damage over 8 seconds. Gains 50% chance to bleed for 50% weapon damage over 4 seconds. You and your allies within range gain a 15% damage buff. So unlike the other weapons, this gives 15 instead of 5% damage buff. So here you have health on kill while Blood Drinker is active, or increase the bleeding chance while active. This would give you 1% health on kill all the way to 10%. And this would give you 5% bleed chance all the way to 50. This is Spinning Blade, an active skill you can place in your skill bar. You would be seeing some videos of this weapon on your screen right now. So this allows you to summon a Spinning Blade at the target location that hits enemies for 60.08 weapon damage and additionally makes them bleed for 60.08 for 6 seconds. So here you can either increase the damage by 5% all the way to 50 or decrease the cooldown by 5% all the way to 50. So if you max out this will reduce the cooldown from 6 seconds to, it should be 3 seconds. Now, Rupture. Hitting a bleeding enemy has 10% chance to make them explode for 45% weapon damage in a small area. Here you can either increase the chance of rupture by 2.5% all the way to 25%, or by increasing the damage from 5% all the way to 50% per level. 5% per level, I mean. Now, Blood pools means that when you kill an enemy it has a chance to spawn a blood pool, but the enemy has to be bleeding and the blood pool will heal you once you go past it. You would be seeing this as well on your screen right now. Here you have the bonuses of either increasing the healing from blood pools by 5% all the way to 50. So instead of 5% default, it should be giving you maybe 7.5. I'm not sure exactly how it works, I might have to check the other one. You can increase the chance to drop a blood pool, a second one. It could even be a third one. Chance to drop an additional blood pool 5%. I've seen cases where I would kill like a bunch of enemies and then there will be 3 or 4 blood pools. So maybe one of the enemies drops 2, the other one dropped 1 and so on. And then finally you have Boiling Blood, which is a modifier for your frenzy, for your blood frenzy. It now causes enemies hit by its initial bleed to rupture when it ends, which is pretty nice. Next off is the Flaming Destroyer fire-based relic weapon. You can see it has an Empowering Smash W skill, then it has a Sword Smash skill which you can put in your skill bar. Then there's also Magma Burst, which is a proc skill. There's Firestorm, another proc skill, and there's Rain of Fire, which empowers your Empowering Smash, and it makes it rain fireballs. You can see some videos showing on your screen for this, which would show you both Sword Smash and Rain of Fire. Let's just go quickly through the setup here. So for Empowering Smash you have either 5% crit chance all the way to 50 or 5% burn chance while it's active all the way to 50, and this is also while it's active. If you don't want to just put points on things that are only during the duration of the active skill, the W skill, then you can probably skip those and just invest in other stuff. This Firestorm is very nice, so you might want to increase the chance of Firestorm and max out the Firestorm damage bonus. Here you can get all the way to 100% more damage for Firestorm, which makes it from 20 to 40%, or you can max out the chance, which is 5% extra, and you see now it's a 6% chance instead of 1. Here you can either go for bonus damage to burning hazard, or you can just chance to make enemies hit by explosion feared. Depending on your character, if you're using a ranged character, fear might be good. If you're using close range, it might end up hurting you. And for Sword Smash, you have the same as the Poisonous Spider. You have either damage bonus or cooldown. Cooldown is by 5% increments, and then there's damage for 5% increment. You go to your reliquary, which you actually have to craft as a building. You select the specific weapon you want to craft, and it will show you how much of which resource you need. Sandstone blocks you craft from collecting sandstone ore. Comet fragments here and sacred hardwood you collect by gathering wood for hardwood, and comet fragments should be coming from the stone box. They are legendary drops, they're rare ore drops, so you might spend some time before you get those resources. And the thing that you do need for each relic weapon that is also different would be the ember core. There are different types of ember cores. Each relic weapon has their own ember core, weapon core, ember core that you need. So once you collect that, you go there, you craft the weapon. It will also ask you for what frontier from the old system, but now it no longer does that. It no longer asks what frontier you want to craft the weapon for. After some feedback from the players, they also removed some skills that were in the early version of this system when they showed us a preview of the system. There were some skills here that were Goblin Frontier, Hybrid Frontier, and the players were avid about not wanting to have skills that make you pick one or the other, and to have the weapon be more universal. It seems Extra listened to us and reduced this. And also it used to be 50 levels, but now it's 40 levels after some feedback from the players was given, so thank you Extra for listening. Cores you get from certain bosses. Each relic weapon would tell you in the reliquary what boss you can get the fragment from. Here this one says it drops from Wideboat Man Crusher in Goblin Stash, a dungeon found in Snotskin Village. It couldn't be more clear than that. Here, Kronk in the Deep Holes, a dungeon found in Bogwood Hole. And here, of the secret weapon in the Deeper Sorrows. Clear enough for all three of them. The next major revamp that came with Update 7 Beast Buddies was the revamp of the pet system. You can see now the pet skills are 8 currently, there will be more added, and they are split into 3 categories. Auras, which you see we have 4 available at the moment, Defender, Deadlier Strikes, Running Partner, and Increased Awareness. Next off we have Battle Cry, Defensive Posture, and Healing Friendship. Those are categorized as buffs. They have cooldowns and the pets cast them themselves. As long as you place them in the bar, they will be cast. Together with the aura that is in the bar, and there can be only one aura, and it's permanent all the time. Then there's a combat skill that they've added, Screeching Stun. There's only one, and again you have to drag it to your skill bar of the pet to make sure the pet is using it. It also has a cooldown, and it's more of a utility stun, so it doesn't do damage, but it does stun. And it doesn't do extra damage, but it probably still will do some damage from the pet's base. I haven't unlocked it yet, so later on when I do unlock all those skills, I would be making a proper video centered around the pet system. So the key points to note are only one aura can be active at a time. If you see, I'm trying to put a different one, it doesn't let me have two, which is a nice balance. Then you can have either three the three different buffs or two buffs and a combat skill, depending on what you've unlocked or what you prefer. This is very nice because it heals you for 10% health every 10 seconds. So it's amazing. And also another thing that is new, now when you use your potion it heals both the pet and you. There are two new pets, and I will quickly show you where to change the pets. Now after you capture a pet, you should be seeing on your screen now what capturing a pet looks like. You're given three options. You can either choose to keep the pet and put it in your home, in your pet storage, to swap out the pet you're using with the one you found, or to release the pet into the wild, which means you're losing anything that the pet could give you, such as skills, etc. So once you send them home, they go here. If you swap them, then the one you were wearing would go here. You can see here you can just check all the pets you've collected. If I want to get this pet now, I can quickly swap it, I can change the name, I can pick randomized names, then I'm swapping it, and then this is now my pet. You can see we have the Drakeling, as it's officially called. Now again, go here and do the same. I can customize it the same way I was able to customize the wolf. So the wolf and the dragon link are the two new pets. There will be more added over the time, there will be more skills added, so it's still work in progress, and it's a very nice step forward for this system to give us something to remind us of Torchlight 1 and 2, which had great pet systems. Another new feature, which is currently in its first stage, in its first state, it's being tested, is the Frontier Traders, which is the in-game cash shop. This is where you buy things that cost real money. So basically they've added three different things, which is a relic storage, shared stash tab, and character SWAT. So you can buy more character SWATs, and each one would cost you roughly around 5 euros. Then relic storage would cost you around 2 euros, probably $2 in the US region. So the value of the currency you can see on your screen now. Currently for Europeans, it would seem like hundreds of that currency called WUX would cost you 1 euro. 500 of course would be 5 euro. So shared stash tab and character slot 5 euro, relic storage slot would be 2 euro. This is something normal. You really don't need those that much unless you want to be hoarding shit tons of items and shit tons of relic weapons. By default you have a storage of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relic weapons. You have 3 different ones, so you can have one of each kind, and then from 2 kinds you can pick to have like variations, so it's more than enough. And you start with 3 stash tabs. At least I started with 3 stash tabs, then I got the 4th during the contract season. I'm not sure how contracts would work in the future, whether they would reward stuff that is in the Frontier Traders, but this wouldn't surprise me if they make the seasonal pass for the premium contracts cost 1,000 WUX or 900 WUX. That would mean probably the level 25 or the final reward of the contract system for each season would give you maybe something from from those rewards here. But there's also free items, free path where you don't have to pay to be participating in the contract system, where I believe they would put all the, as they said, all the items such as weapons, armors, etc. All that stuff that is gear would be put in the free path, and all the cosmetics would be put into the paid path. So here are some of the other changes that you can easily notice. One of them would be the new rework of the mapworks. It's not a rework, it's more of a just not being able to craft them in the mapworks device. It's only for decoration there, and you can now just buy them from this NPC in the Imperial Outpost. The other change would be the Adventurer's Work buff. If you're near your allies, regardless whether you're in a party or not, you're receiving and they're receiving a 15% wood quality, wood bonus buff. So you might see in this short video that I've cut how far I need to be in order to receive the buff from the other player. You can see on the minimap how far he is. He's right around the shop, and you can see how far I am. Some of the items have new artwork towards them, and some of them had, I think, their names changed. There's also new modifiers, as I've showed you, that can give you different stats, such as on a mage you can now see, or not just on the mage, on any character you can see leg armor or even helmets giving crit chance. So I'm assuming all different armor pieces can give you crit chance now. So a crit chance build would be very nice for any class now, and possible. Some visual changes to, I think, the workshop and the automaton shop. They're purely cosmetic at the moment, and also since the map trader got moved to the town, this one is currently just a prop. It's a nice prop, so it's good to have it in the base. But now you can buy, as you're seeing on your screen, maps from a trader. You don't have to wait etc. number of seconds to get the map. You just select the map type, you select the frontier you want to buy it for, and you just pay the needed fee. The fire defense shrine also got a new icon, and there is a new goat voting animation. Thanks for watching this video, folks. If you've enjoyed it, you can let me know by hitting that button. And if you want to be notified when I upload more content, you could subscribe to my channel. If you're looking for more Torchlight Frontiers content, you can check some of the playlists for builds I've made. And in the description below this video you can find links to my Twitch, Twitter, Mixer, and you can also see those at the end of this video in the final sequence. Thank you again for watching this video, and keep it cool, folks. Until next time.